Welcome to the Good Good Podcast. I'm your host, Dee Talley, mama, licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, and embodiment coach. Here we dive deep into the realms of energy, consciousness, awareness, empowerment, and personal transformation to help you create a more vibrant and juicy life. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Good Good Podcast, and I am your host, Dee Talley. Thank you so much for being here. I say this every time. I get to have this microphone and come on here and talk to you, and it just feels like such an honor and a privilege to be able to do that. And so, thank you. Briefly, before we go into today's topic, I want to just tell you that I had some random dude yell at me on the street, "Hey, it's you, Good Good Podcast." And I was like, okay, number one, pretty much only women listen to this podcast. I would say probably 95% of my listeners are women. And this person was with a significant other, a friend, somebody who was a woman. And it just caught me off guard so much and like tickled and delighted me. And so I just want to say thank you. And please feel free to talk to me randomly on the streets. Like I like having conversations with people. And anyway, so if you're listening to this guy, because I don't know your name, thank you. Thank you for yelling at me on the street, and thank you for listening. Okay, so here are 5 things that I am no longer apologizing for, and you shouldn't either. Number 1, saying no and feeling the need to explain it. We're no longer having to explain ourselves when we align ourselves in full authenticity of whatever it is that you want or don't want. You don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't have to say a thing, but there is this old ingrained thing, especially in women, where we always feel like we have to explain ourselves. We have to make ourselves more palatable for people. And we feel we have to be nice all the time. And, it's not that saying no without explanation means that you're mean or stern or whatever, but it's just like a full reclamation, a full autonomy, a full stepping into your truth. And the people who say no without apology take up space, and they live in their truth, and they allow themselves to be in their truth. And so we are no longer apologizing for that. In fact, it delights me when I see people in full alignment with themselves. When you are in full authenticity and full alignment with yourself, your energy is able to move more freely. You are able to have less stagnation in yourself, and you're able to attract the things that you want to attract, and to be in full authenticity gives others the permission to be in full authenticity. And let's be real here, it just feels good. When you say no to something, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to something else that lights you up. And these are tools and skills that we should all be able to practice. And if you're like, ugh, that's so hard for me, try it with little things. Try it with very, very, very little things. And eventually that will feel a little bit better as you keep doing it. And as you realize like, wow, it actually feels really good to lean into what I want, what feels good to me. I can say no. I don't need to explain it to anybody. And honestly, like poo-poo on the people that are like, well, why? They're allowed to ask why, but you're also allowed to say, I don't really want to get into it, period, full stop. Okay, the next thing that I stopped apologizing for, and you should too, is any decision that you make for your health. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody. It doesn't. I'm going to give you a story. So today I saw a patient, longtime patient. We've been working together for a long time. And she came in and she sat down. She goes, "You're going to think I'm crazy." And I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" So she said, "I want to go on hormone replacement therapy, I think." So backstory. So years ago, almost 4 years ago, she was doing hormone replacement therapy and she really wasn't sure if it was for her. Like she was like, "I don't really know about this. I'm still having symptoms. I'm not sure it's for me." So she decided, and many people who are on hormone replacement therapy and then stop it, you get a reemergence of some of the symptoms and they usually intensify. Yes, it does get better, but there is a period, you're not a robot like an on-off switch. The body does have a period of time where you kind of work through, you come to a new equilibrium. So she stopped taking HRT about almost 4 years ago, and she had another reemergence of all of her symptoms. But everything was going fine for her, and she was okay with being off of it. But recently, she's discovered that she wants to try it again. And well, one, I was like, it makes me sad that she thought that judgment would meet her in the treatment room, because I truly, all I want for people are for them to come to their own decisions about their body and feel good about it and not hurt their body, right? Hormone replacement therapy, and this could be like a whole nother show. This could be a whole nother show. But recent studies are showing that HRT is not detrimental to women. And does it ease some of the symptoms? Does it make life a bit easier for women? Yes, it does. And so she did not have to justify any of her decisions to me. And the only person who has to feel good about those decisions are her, right? So if you make a decision for yourself, say you want to start working out in the morning, it's going to cause you to, shift something else in your schedule or whatever it is. You don't have to justify your decisions about your health to anybody. If you want to try a new supplement, if you decide that you want to quit smoking, anything, you do not have to justify it to anybody. And this goes with like anything and everything, right? You don't have to justify what you wore today. You don't have to justify your decision for your career. Like the only person that needs to feel good about that is you. And health is a very personal thing. Oh, two things. Health is an extremely personal thing. And there isn't a one way for everybody, right? I love it when they're like, everybody should have this. Everybody should do this. And it's like, yes, we have similar makeups, genetic makeups, right? And like our bodies are similar in a lot of ways, but there are so many differences. And this goes back to constitution, how every single body has different proclivities, different tendencies, different ways in which they thrive, ways in which they struggle. And so it is a personal decision and a personal roadmap to look inward and discover what it is that will cause you to thrive. And that thing might not be the thing that works for your mom, might not be the thing that works for your best friend, right? It is a personal decision and a very intimate personal decision that you do not have to justify to anybody. The next thing that I will not apologize for is taking up space online, even when I am figuring things out. This rings so true. I don't have to have everything figured out to know that I like to talk on a fucking microphone. Okay. I don't have to know the full roadmap. And sometimes I get myself caught up in these things where I'm like, oh, who is she? Like, is she an acupuncturist? Does she teach people? Is she offering programs? Like, is she a podcaster? What does she do? And I try to define it. I keep trying to define it. And really, It doesn't need a definition. And if it looks like I'm fumbling around here, I am. I am, and that's okay. That's okay because I'm still finding my good. I'm finding the things that light me up. I'm finding the ways in which I want to help people. And yes, am I writing a course? Am I writing more than one course? Am I coming up with podcast ideas, doing content creation, going on Ginger Talk on TikTok and, fist bumping with all of my Black cousins? Yes, I am. Right? I'm doing all of those things. And it doesn't have to be one single thing. If you want to pop your shit on social media, on a podcast, on whatever, you don't have to have it all figured out in order to do that. All you have to do is take that one next brave step in that direction and start. Just start. Because I'll tell you what, the only way actually to figure out the direction is to fumble the fuck around. So, if it looks like I don't know what's happening, I got multiple accounts, I don't know, am I sharing from one? Am I sharing from personal? What am I doing? It's because truly I am figuring things out and using my body as the compass to say, hey, how did that feel? Did that work? Oh, it felt good. I like talking about that. How was that for you? How do you, and using my body is the best way because it helps me be closer to what it is that actually lights me up, right? This is about coming closer to yourself and cultivating a vibrant and juicy life that makes you wet when you wake up every day and you're excited about and you feel good about. Take up space online or take up space in any realm that you want. The next thing I'm not going to apologize for is requiring reciprocity in relationships. I think we all just get to this place. Okay, I'll speak for myself. I think maybe it's age, maybe it's wisdom, maybe it's my own healing journey, whatever the fuck it is. And maybe it's being a mother, having young kids, having a demanding life, having a practice, doing all the things where no longer can I hemorrhage energy in the direction where I don't receive back something, whatever it is, right? If you're bashing your head against a wall because you're trying to make it work with your friends who you had 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and you're not actually meeting each other in a way that feels nourishing, it's okay to move on. It doesn't mean that you didn't care for them. It doesn't mean that you didn't love them or have amazing times or whatever it was. All it means is I've shifted and we no longer align. You don't need to even judge it, good or bad. It's really very simple. How does my energy respond in this relationship? It would be one of two ways, and it's very easy to figure out. One, is it enlivening? Do I come away from these relationships feeling, wow, that was really nourishing. Like I feel good. My energy is up. I feel nourished. Or maybe my energy is down, but it feels good. That is the measure. Do I feel like shit after this person leaves my house, right? Do I feel tired? Am I heavy? It is a very, very simple, right? To use your system to make decisions. And if you are not getting that reciprocity in relationship, baby, end it. End it. It doesn't mean anything good, bad, or indifferent. All it means is you are taking steps towards yourself. And truly, when one door closes, multiple doors open, right? It's like Just because you close your door on your friend or your one friend or your group of friends and you don't have very many friends and you think to yourself, ah, shit, I'm an adult. And it takes a lot to actually cultivate friendships at this age. No, you can make friends until the day you die. And then maybe beyond then. Because your energy ain't going anywhere. You're connected in a web anyway. So, reciprocity in relationship, right? Because this is about the version of you when you're with that person. Okay? Like a lot of people think that it comes from external. Like this person does something for me. I'm going towards them because they're a good time. No, that's not actually true. What's happening is you are becoming a different version of yourself when you're in their presence. Your biofields are making contact. You are interacting energetically with that person. And it changes the way in which you show up. And so this is what it's about. It's about the version of yourself when you are with that person. Do you like the version of yourself? And if it's a yes, then keep them. And if it's a no, then ditch them. It's done. Oh, man. Sometimes I'm like, do I really get to talk into this mic? Oh, my God. Do I really get to talk? And people listen? Like people are listening to me? Okay, cool. Okay. This is the last thing that I will stop and never apologize for again. Not being for everyone. Ooh. If you're for everyone, baby, you're for no one. You are for no one, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. And there's no possible way that you or anyone can be for everyone. There's just no way. Right? It's going to be triggering to some people. Some people are going to love you, right? Like I am beefing right now. Oh God. I truly don't know if I should even say any of this, but here we are. I am beefing right now with somebody in my small little town who owns a business. Now, I didn't know I was beefing with them. I had no idea I was beefing with them, but I'll tell you the story. Okay, so I see a lot of patients who also see other modalities, right? Other practitioners, chiropractors, massage therapists, physical therapists, craniosacral, like it goes on, right? And in New York State, certain practitioners have adopted traditional Chinese medicine techniques that they do on people without full trainings. Okay? They were trained, but they weren't trained. You feel me? Okay? So I had a shared patient come to me who was injured, who was pretty injured, okay? And this was somebody who did cupping on this patient. If cups are too strongly adhered and they stay on for too long, they can cause harm. And this patient underwent like 3 weeks of pain, swelling. Literally, she came to me and I'm looking at her back and there is like welts, like the cupping marks are still have fluid. There is fluid between her skin and muscle layer where that cup was on there for too long. It was inappropriate and it wasn't okay. And I said to her, she had another appointment coming up with this practitioner. I said to her, you should tell them. You can even say that I told that it's coming from me. Say, Dee says that was too strong, and or you can say it. I think that was a little too strong. So we can do it, but can we just do less of it, right? So It gets worse. Oh, it gets worse. So I don't see her for another month. She comes back. She just had an ER visit. Okay. Oh, it's just so bad. Okay. So she had to go to the ER because instead of doing cupping, the practitioner decided to do stretching. The backstory is this particular patient had a very traumatic car accident, lots of whiplash, problems with her neck, like problems with a lot of areas of her body. And the type of stretching that was done was, again, too much. There's a theme here, right? You can see the theme. So what happened was her head was manipulated too much, where it changed her ossicles in her ear, right? You know where I'm going with this. She started with really bad dizziness, vertigo, to the point of not being able to stand up, vomiting constantly, extreme headaches, and she had to go to the ER. She had to follow up with her primary. She was put on medication. She was fucked up, okay? So she was fucked. So she was not managed properly, in my humble opinion. And she came back to me. I treated her, and another month went by, and she came back, and she was healing at that time. So she had stopped having headaches. She had been taken off her other medication. She had still followed up with her primary, but she had canceled her next appointment with this practitioner because she was like, I don't think it's going to work for me. I don't know. And I said, well, you've worked with them for a long time. Have you called them up and just talked to them? Like, said what happened? And she said, oh no, I haven't. And I said, why? And she said, the day that the stretching happened, they were having a really hard day and were really upset. And I said, what? Why? And she said, they were mad at you. They were mad at you. And I said, for what do you mean? Like, I was just kind of like, what? And she said, they didn't like that you said they did too strong cupping. They were embarrassed, so they decided to stretch me instead. So now I'm like, well, now it's now I did it? Like, okay. There are a couple of other things that I'm not going to share on this podcast. Beef, behind the scenes beef, that would lead to further beef. However, I said to her, you know what? That's okay with me. I am not for everyone. And if they want to be mad at me, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them being upset with me because I'm standing in my values. I'm standing in my truth. I wouldn't change anything that I said, did, or how I acted with this particular patient. And if it's going to be put off to me, then I can take it. And I'm okay with it because you know why? It doesn't stick. And people know the truth. People know the truth. So you're not going to be for everybody. You shouldn't be for everybody. And it's okay if you're not for everybody. If you are for some people, those are your people. Those are your people. You don't have to be for everybody. You shouldn't be. Think of all the energy that it would take to cultivate relationships with people that don't have the same values as you. If they don't have the same values as you, there isn't reciprocity, right? You feel like you can't take up space. You feel like you have to apologize or say your reasons for your no's. They're not for you. They're not for you. But you know who is for you and you know who has your back? You do. Especially when you make these difficult decisions about your most precious resource, your time, your energy, your effort in relationship, right? That is all I have for you today, baby. What are the things that you won't apologize for? I want to know. DM me, comment, like, let's get this conversation started, because I'm so sick of hearing, especially women, apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Like, let's come up with a different phrase to say. How about, oh, I'm sacred? Can you imagine if all the women of the world, instead of saying I'm sorry, said I'm sacred? Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Thank you so much for joining me and listening, and all the things. I am so, so grateful for you. And I will see you in the next episode.